this year for the McKinney North swimming and diving team. Several swimmers setting their own personal best records, and a lot of state, or not a lot of state records, but a lot of school records went down as well. I'm joined by their head coach, Brenda Files, and Coach, 10 school records set overall this year. You have to be pleased with that.
We're very pleased. We had a lot of depth coming in with our new freshman class, and our returning kids really stepped up, and they swam great at districts.
Not always in all sports do 7 freshman girls help out with the depth. Usually that means it's going to be a reloading year, but you had a lot of strong swimmers coming into the school this year.
Right. Most of them have had swimming experience background. I know we have twin girls on the team, the Purons, and I actually coached them when they were about 5 or 6 with the McKinney Sea Lions. And then another girl that, actually 2 more that were with Sea Lions when I was around was Haley Begala and Linnea Edmondson. So it was exciting to see them having, not really seen them in the past couple of years, to be able to be with us and compete and give us a lot of depth.
And that's a really neat experience to be able to coach kids when they're younger, and then you lose touch with them a little bit, and then when they get to the high school level, you see how much they've improved, and then they remember you from coaching them, and it's just a great experience overall.
It was fun, and I've had a few come along the way from when I was coaching back in Sea Lions, and it just adds that much more personal ability that we can work together, and they kind of have an understanding of what I expect, and I know what they're able to do, so I can get them through it.
Your boys finished 3rd in the district competition this year, and the girls in 6th, so both teams going to regionals and placing high there as well. What was the improvement from the start of the season to the end of the season for your teams?
The boys really kind of surprised me as far as the speed that they were able to acquire when we started resting them. They trained hard all year long, and I really didn't expect them to get 3rd, but the relays came together. We had some individuals that placed really well in their events, and it just shows that they were ready to race.
How do you, throughout the lawn swimming season, keep players or your swimmers from burning out and losing all their energy?
Well, we do only get an hour and a half of practice, which if we had our choice, we'd be swimming 2 hours a day, and we'd be swimming Saturdays. But reality is we have the limited amount of time. We take a few days at Thanksgiving. We have our last final push of hard practices during Christmas. It's just kind of balancing the practices with some fun stuff, some hard stuff, and just keeping the spirit up.
Madison Kuhn had another exceptional year for you in the 50 free and the 100 free, having great district meets, and that translated all the way to state.
It did. She actually was district champion in the 50 and 100 freestyle. Really caught me by surprise. I knew she could race. I knew she could do well. It was just nice seeing as a senior that she was ready to do that. And she placed 4th at regionals in both the 50 and 100. And I knew she was pretty close to being able to be called up, as we call it. And when she finished 4th, and she didn't necessarily go her best time as in districts, but it was enough that she got called up and she got to go to state.
And that's a great experience for a senior. Your final year, you'd like to get to the state championship, especially when you win your district meets. You want to do well at regionals.
She did really well. We had a pretty good conversation on the way home that, she knew she kind of wanted to get there, and she didn't really notice or kind of envision that she could actually get there. But she was really proud that she stuck out the summer practices to be able to get there. She mentioned that if she could offer any advice to the younger kids, it would be, train hard. It's all worth it to be able to get to the state meet. And
you also sent several other swimmers to the state meet, including your boys' 200 medley relay team.
Right. They also got called up, as far as we call it, that they were the 8th pickup time out of the whole state, and they were picked up by like 0.16 of a second. And again, it was interesting that they were able to go for the experience. I have 1 senior on that relay, and then the other 3 will be coming back. So I really think that's going to help motivate the younger kids to really strive to work hard and be able to get back there next year.
Swimming is a sport of tenths, and in fact sometimes hundredths. With those minor touches at the wall that can mean the difference between 1st and maybe even 6th and 7th.
Right.
How do you try and improve in the water to shave off hundredths and tenths?
We really focused, with Madison, we focused on our turn a little bit from regionals to state, that we just tweaked a few little things. She had a great start on Friday, the first day of the state meet, and she was just able to carry it out. I know not only with swimming but diving, we have a junior diver, Alex Dobby, who was in third place going into the last dive at the regional meet, and it really came down to 7 points in diving that it came from third to fifth. And unfortunately, he didn't have the greatest last dive that he had. He got fifth at regionals, but there's a senior that will be leaving, and really, he's got a great shot next year. It really opens up of who's out there for him to be able to go next year, so that should be exciting.
And diving's a little bit different than swimming in the fact that swimming, you have your true results, you have your set time, but diving's a much more objectional sport because you have judges that are trying to look and nitpick every single position they are in the air and if they completed their turns right. So what do you teach your divers as far as how to get the best scores from the judges?
For his name's Alex Dobby, and we just call him Dobby. For him, it's really, he's been diving with a club team, and that really has led to his success. We only have 30 minutes during the day, and my knowledge of diving is pretty limited, and we just worry about trying to focus on some of the basic stuff of working on his hurdle, working on his entry. The difference, it is frustrating when you have divers who look good to you and then they go to a meet and other coaches are criticizing or judging them differently, that it's hard to be able to tell them what to do because everybody who is judging them has a different view and what they're looking for. So, you just kind of take it for what it is and go with it.
And you mentioned club swimming and diving. How much does that time outside of school with swimming and diving help your swimmers and divers to compete within the school competitions?
It helps tremendously. That's one thing that I try to push to the kids is if they want to make it to the state meet, there has to be some kind of outside training, whether it's summer, whether it's after school, after our practices. Statistically, if you look at the state meet, most kids who finish in the top 8 have had club experience. I know Madison swam club last summer with Frisco, and I know she really feels that helped her to get there as well.
And Coach, finally, what are you looking forward to most from next year's team?
We lose 6 seniors, but with the 7 freshmen, we have about 8, 9 boys returning. Really hope that they step up and see the success that Madison and the boys had in the relay. It really motivates them, and that the kids who went to state can actually motivate them to train hard as well. So just returning and getting back in the water.
Well, Coach Files, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
That's McKinney North Swimming and Diving. Good year, sent several individuals to state, and that can only improve in the years upcoming. Another sports talk is in the books. A big thanks to all 3 swimming and diving coaches for sharing their time on today's show. A basketball playoff update for you. Boyd lost their first round matchup with Richardson-Berkner, unfortunately, but McKinney North defeated Jacksonville on Friday to move on to the regional quarterfinals to play Mansfield Legacy Tuesday night in Coppell. Spring is right around the corner, and so we'll take an early look at the girls' softball season on next week's show. Until then, from all of us here at Sports Talk, I'm Tyler Sloan. Have a great week.